Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Truck Stop Opinion Shop, where here we believe that no news is great news. But before we get into any news, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you have not already done so. Pop the notification bell if you'd like to follow for future content. Hit the like or dislike button, leave a comment or two. You can also follow me on True Social at Truck Stop Opinion Shop, all one word. I'm also on Twitter at Truck and Opinion, and comment there. Let's start the show. Let me start this show by briefly speaking on this January 6th Stalin-style Hollywood-produced show trial. The left has been extremely violent the last few years, burning down cities, courthouses, killing police, shooting up Republican congressmen at baseball games, trying to assassinate a Supreme Court justice, and using the Justice Department, district attorneys, to force their will upon conservatives. It's a federal offense to be outside the homes of Supreme Court justices, protesting and intimidating court rulings. Yet, you have the president, the Justice Department, the media, all Democrat members of Congress and Senate, and its voters as well. Not to mention, former, yet most likely shadow President Barack and Michelle Obama, calling for it to continue and to ramp up the protest. It's absolutely illegal, and it continues even today. One man even tried to kill Justice Kavanaugh outside of his house.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions.
But we are to believe that January 6th was the most violent attack on the Capitol, even knowing a year before the left was burning down D.C. with Biden, Vice President Wacky Doodle Harris, the D.C. mayor, Democrat members of Congress, backing, and they approved, encouraged the left to continue to attack, even the White House, to the point where Trump had to be taken into a bunker for his safety. And over 60 Secret Service agents were seriously injured that day. And when that happened, the media mocked Trump as a coward who hid in a bunker. Not a leader at all, they said. And don't you dare ever say anything about January 6th. You have a coach of the NFL, the Washington football team, who was fined $100,000 by his team for saying January 6th was a dust-up compared to the riots all summer of 2020. There's no free speech. You either conform or they will smash their will upon you. You had 2 years of the left attacking people for not wearing masks and not getting vaccines and to follow the science, they said. These same people are telling us it's a right to kill a baby up until the point of birth, and that it's not even a baby at all, even though science tells us it is a baby. These leftists are absolutely unhinged and at war with society at every angle. And talking about it, they say is also promoting violence, even though I and most others are against violence in every form except to protect our own life and the life of loved ones, which they also say is not a right of yours at all. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? This party, it's just radical. It's just racist. It's violent. They purposely lie non-stop to push a narrative and agenda. They then call us the liars if we miss a few small things or mispronounce a word. They are also racist beyond belief and always have been. This is the party who started a civil war to keep slavery. This is the same party that created the terrorist group known as the KKK to prevent free blacks from voting. The same party that segregated the South and forced black Americans into separate venues than whites. This is the same party that fought against the Civil Rights Bill for years and years and years, but then claim they're the ones who passed it. They are absolutely an abomination to this country and its history. They love to point out all of America's faults and bad parts of its history, yet they always leave out who was behind those atrocities most of the time. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You need to understand that we cannot be silent anymore. You cannot be afraid that you may attract their attention and their wrath. You need to understand they will come for you eventually. They will even turn on themselves because Marxism is a poison, and we need to peacefully defeat it with education and communication with our young ones. It's a long game, unfortunately, because they are deeply woven themselves into all aspects of our culture and society, and we need to unravel it. We need to understand we can't be violent in any way because they want us to be violent to help push their agenda even more. They need us to be violent, and if we are not violent, they will create fake groups and events to try and tie us to these radical people instead of peaceful Americans. But let's move on to the economy and the bumbling former Vice President Biden, who can't stop tripping on his words or even tripping upstairs.
Farce. Okay, I'm all right, no problem. I slipped in a crab. Who put that crab there?
Crab? I didn't see any crab.
Don't tell me. There were two crabs. They work in pairs. I went to Annapolis, for Christ's sake.
He wants you to believe the economy, the fuel prices, the food shortage, all fall on Putin, the Putin tax hike. We are now to believe and that we rely on Ukraine for food. I mean, is this a joke? The left will turn and they'll stop and tell you that they're getting rid of fossil fuels. And Biden says he's doing more to eliminate fossil fuels than any other president. And then in the next sentence, he will tell you it isn't his fault for rising fuel costs. And we are supposed to believe and accept this crap as the media covers up for him and his radical agenda. This man who calls himself Lunch Bucket Joe, a man who has never had a job outside of government his whole entire life, a man who has made millions of dollars, making a salary that can never provide that type of wealth. And who knows where he got it, Mr. Manchurian candidate. Well, you know what? This man who says oceans are rising because global warming, yet he has a mansion on the seafront. This man is a disaster.
If Edwards gets wind of this, he'll use it against you in the campaign. He'll try to prove that you're incompetent.
I can prove that as well as he can.
Anyone who votes for these people is a disgrace to every American who has ever lived and will live in the future. And do not even bother to listen to anything they say anymore. It does not matter. They are radical, baby-killing, violent extremists, and we will defeat them by using the tactics of Martin Luther King Jr., Gandhi, nonviolent and truly peaceful. We'll get them through education. There will even be times where we have to take a few hits and turn the other cheek. We have to show their true colors and expose them as the radical, violent people. We cannot be used as pawns and made into violent people like they are. We cannot rely on police either to back us. Because I have recently decided I no longer back the blue. Now, I always support law enforcement. I respect them, and I will have their backs when they are in the right. But this back the blue stuff, well, I would say watch getting too close to their backs because they are showing that they will follow the orders of the left and turn and march on you as you march for them. They will claim they are just doing their jobs. Their unions, they pay and donate money to left-wing groups who then attack them and then use the police to attack us. So I obey the law. I respect all officers. I thank the ones who protect us, and I know how much they are needed. But I am disappointed in their silence and willingness to accept whatever unlawful orders they are given. So how about it, Blue? How about backing us for a change? How about reaching out to each other and finding that line in the sand that you all agree that you will not cross? Talk to your community members, and don't be a stranger and a badge. Be a face of kindness, strength, and a true man of the constitutional law. And everyone remember, even you God-hating leftists, no matter what, God loves you. You may hate him. You may think he doesn't exist, but no matter what, he still loves you. And I love you as well. I wish these radical leftists would not choose the path they do, but unfortunately, they do. And thank you as always for giving up some of that precious time on earth to listen to me. I appreciate you. God bless us in America. And that's my truck stop opinion for today. Take care.